Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're in season 6, episode number 47. Tonight's the sports edition, Andy.
Yes.
Well, it's September 29th, 2025. The Major League Baseball season has ended. We got a special guest on. Ryno Simonson. How are you doing, Ryno?
Oh, living the dream, babe. Living the dream.
I love it. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's get a word here from our sponsor. Then we'll move on to the show. We're going to get Ryno's thoughts on a couple of topics here that I know he's going to have opinions on, which is always good to get this guy on. But let's start off with David Shamma's Sports Headliners. This fall, follow the unique and free coverage of Minnesota football teams and other newsmakers via David Shamma's Minnesota Sports Headliners website. Since 2006, the website has covered the local sports topics that interest readers the most and delivered content you may not read elsewhere while providing insights about the teams, players, coaches, management, and ownership that fans follow with passion. Visit shammasportsheadliners.com. That's shammasportsheadliners.com. So we're going to talk the Major League Baseball, Andy, announced this last week that they will implement the ABS, the robot umpires. Well, wait. Hey, we got a trivia question, Andy. Here we go. Trivia question is,
Okay.
On this day, Ryno might like this one. On this day, Willie Mays made the infamous catch in 1954 on this day. Running back making the catch on this day in 1954. How long did that ball travel? What was roughly the distance it was when Mays caught that ball in center field? We'll get to the answer at the end of the episode. Let's talk a little robot baseball, Andy.
All right.
Let's talk robot baseball, Andy. Yes.
So here we go. Free at last, free at last.
Rocco.
Rocco's gone. Have they called you for the job yet, Ryno?
No. I'm still waiting to hear back. My people are in touch with their people, and it'll get me out of the TCMABL, which might be very liberating.
Yeah, well, you never know. Never know. Just saying.
The bat, battalion bats. So Rocco's gone. Andy, you had predicted that right at the beginning of the season, I think.
Yeah, I thought he should be gone early, but
short leash is what you said back in April, and so he's gone.
They absolutely didn't catch that episode. I mentioned that on. So
yes.
Bob Melvin was also given his walking papers from the Giants. A 161 and a 163 record for over 2 years wasn't good enough, I guess. So Giants let him go. I don't know who they got in the mix. I don't know if Bob Melvin's going to want to manage. He wants to come here and manage. We'll see. And the Pirates did extend Don Kelly. So that's one position that's locked in. Now, we're going to talk about the Mets GM Steve Cohen had a press conference today, so of course I watched it, and he just talked about just spitting shit for half an hour. It's we're going to make changes. What changes are you going to make there, Steve? Well, we have to wait and see. That was a half hour of that. So
you think the Twins are a dumpster fire?
Yeah, I know. This is a dumpster fire in a fancier building is all this is.
More expensive beers.
All right, what's the bigger story here, Ryno? 15 and a half games back and they win the division, or $339 payroll not making the playoffs?
Oh, it's got to be the not making the playoffs. Come on. That's
Hey, now, I just told Dan, there's been twice it's happened where a team with a $300 million plus payroll did not make the playoffs. The 2025 Mets and the 2023 Mets. So they've done 2 out of 3 years. So they've done this before. This is old hat. But the comeback was pretty good.
I mean, that's my Tigers, though, man. I don't want to throw them under the bus.
I don't want to pick a scab there. I'm sorry.
That's about as ugly as it gets.
What was with the Tigers benching everybody that last game? Why not play for home field?
I I don't know. I can't explain the philosophy there. It's unless they were, part of that collapse was they felt like guys were banged up and they needed to take a chance. I don't know what they couldn't hit the ball. Well, as Crash Davis would say, they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a effing boat. Right. So that was pretty ugly. They were struggling.
All right, so here's the brackets. If I recall correctly, they don't reseed here. So if Detroit wins, they do play Seattle second round. Period.
Yeah.
Are you happy with your team's draw there, Ryno?
I can live with it. I feel like they're familiar enough with Cleveland. That could be a series. I'm not a big believer in Seattle. I'll be honest. Let's be honest. Like, I don't watch a ton of Major League Baseball anymore. But I don't think that them coming out on top of a division that I don't think is very strong, top to bottom, is, I don't know, whatever. We'll see. They've got to prove it. I mean, you get in that first time and see what you can do. You got to prove it a little bit. But of course, Tigers haven't been there for a while either.
The thing that's going to hurt them is that week off, I think. Because momentum's your next day starter, and that's going to kill them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it always kind of seems to. I don't know. Yeah, you don't necessarily want to sit idle.
And of course, ESPN's happy they got the Red Sox and Yankees for 3 days. So.
Oh, those guys are overjoyed.
Yeah, they're making a mess on themselves over there.
That is the only series I would ever make a case for the pitch clock for.
Yeah, just to get that over with.
I mean, frankly, those are the two clubs that I blame for the pitch clock. Because of their postseason 5.5-hour games. I thought when I was playing in Liga Latina, the games dragged on, but Red Sox Yankees playoff games are the most insufferable.
Well, it's mostly Jeter and Ortiz, for crying out loud.
Well, yeah, plenty of that.
No more Garcia Parra, and oh my word.
Yeah, just you got you get the pitchers don't help. You got them up there staring you guys down and shaking signs, conference. It's just it was those were brutal. I mean, you get into those, early 2000s, early teens kind of era stuff. That was whatever. It's over now.
Can relive my youth a little bit here at the Padres Cubs 84 rematch. Leon Durham with the spilled pop on his glove, all those excuses. Relive those. Someone's got to bring that story up during that series. If they don't, they totally drop the ball there. But that story has come up there.
Yeah, you would hope so.
All right, so here's the schedule, and it's the same all 3 days. That they shorten the times if someone's eliminated if there's only so many teams playing a third game. But basically, you got Detroit, Cleveland at 1 or noon our time here in the Central. Padres and the Cubs. So we got the cold weather teams done. Then New York, Boston, and the West Coast. They got the West Coast team that left out there, them and the Reds. So there's your matchups: ESPN, ABC, ESPN. So ta-da-da. ESPN for that. And I kind of I give it the fact the cold weather teams give them the afternoon games. I'm okay with that. It's be in the 80s in Cleveland, but you plan it that way.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, no issues.
Let the South and the West Coast teams play those night games. Yeah.
Now, next year, they're not going to call it the Rolaids Relief Man, but they are bringing back the AL and NL Relief Pitcher Award. You a fan of this, Ryno?
What? Rolaids pulled their sponsorship or what?
I think the time factor right now, because they haven't been playing it since 2012. They quit giving the award. So.
It's been that long?
I'm sure someone will sponsor the award. I just don't know if it's going to be Rolaids or not.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe Tums came in and overtook them.
Someone will cut the check for it, yeah.
Outbid them. Yeah. What's that prescription stuff?
I kind of liked it. It was kind of good.
I think I'm fine with it. Like, I think, relievers deserve a special. It's tougher for me now with the hyper specialization of relief pitchers,
Right.
How many guys that came in for, whatever, 1 inning for their setup or their setup to the setup. Come in there and busted 102 for 16 pitches and then go sit down. I mean, I guess you got a lot of carbon copies of that kind of that relief man right now. So I don't know how you're going to discern. But
I love looking up the interviews nowadays with Goose Gossage ripping on relief pitchers. He uses him and Will Clark use a lot of not safe for work language in there.
Yeah. I love Will Clark.
Oh,
He's so great.
Oh my God.
They are bringing in the automated umpire for next year. We can challenge a couple pitches. Again, not a fan, I guess, but
Nope.
And the thing I don't like about it, it's kind of like with the instant replay in football, and all the quarterbacks at home, all the couch surfers at home going, "See, I knew that was a strike." No, you didn't. At 100 miles an hour zipping by, you did not know it just caught the corner. Okay, sorry, that bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, I know why you guys brought me on here.
Let's get you riled up.
As everybody know, I'm an old school guy. I don't like, I want to abolish the DH for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I'm not a DH fan though.
I don't like this stuff. I mean, obviously it's gonna have limited usage, but that's what they said about the replay too. And now it feels like it's just constantly, and then it's just, it's the way the replay has been used. I mean, I guess there's a little less leeway with this, but well, I don't know. The way the replay has been used, I just feel like it's not in the spirit of why it was brought in. Like I don't think replay. You throw it on a second. Was a guy with the throw beat him? Was he there? Was he out? Was he? Sometimes you get that better look at it. But when you're slowing it down to 1 billionth of a second and looking at 15 million DPI high resolution images where it's like, oh, the tip of his spike, came a quarter of a millimeter off the bag while the glove was still in contact with, that's not the spirit of why that was in there. And I just feel like these things just, first of all, they're always super glitchy when they roll them out.
That little bit on the oven mitt of his hand as he slid in and got there first.
Oh, God. Well, then, that's the other thing, too, is like, so you can just put a hand extender on, and obviously, like, whatever.
I remember growing up, it said hold your batting gloves in your hands in fists so you don't break your fingers. And like the Mets games were saying yesterday, get rid of the stupid head first slide. All you're doing is getting hurt. You don't see
why is everybody sliding head first? You ever seen a single photo of Jackie Robinson sliding head first? I don't know.
Ever since Pete Rose, they all go head first. Him and Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson. I'm going to give credit to Ricky, but also Ricky. Ricky knew when it was like, whatever happened to the backdoor slide, the hook slide. It's always like I understand this. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line philosophy, but you got the advantage when you're running to a bag of seeing the guy in front of you, seeing where he's positioning himself. And so many times I'll see a guy, he's taking the ball in the front of the bag and they'll functionally slide right into where he's tagging, where, home plate is the worst. Where, you've got you got a front door, you got a back door, you got other options available to you based on, where this guy's playing and make him react to you. Fair enough. Whatever that means on any given day, but, I don't know. It's just, I just feel like these are, I don't know. Sometimes they're just solutions looking for a problem. When you crunch the data on this, these guys are not missing many calls. Right. They're not missing many calls. It doesn't, I believe in a pitcher's pitch. I mean, I hate pitchers. They're a necessary evil, they get me out all the time. But there's when you nail that spot and you stick that pitch, and it's within reason, like you nailed that pitch. Like I don't need that to go in and analyze it and see if it missed by a millimeter or, it just starts, you're just getting farther and farther away from the spirit of the game. And
back in the day, each umpire had their own strike zone. That's what the beauty was too. You figured out the guy's zone after a couple of innings. If you got to review balls and strikes with Greg Maddux, he would not have the numbers he had now.
Yeah, I mean, he had Hirschbeck, back then. I mean, some of it got a little extreme, with some of these guys, obviously, where they were, you had very pitcher friendly umpires and very, I don't necessarily want to see that. I appreciate the fact that they've really buckled down on what they expect from umpires, what they expect from the strike zone. And I think that's worked well enough with, I think the review process is, I mean, for all the biggest problem are the going back to the couch potato armchair quarterback fans, and every broadcast has that stupid white rectangle on it that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. If you watch side by side the home and away broadcast, it's not even the same rectangle. It's not anything that's mandated or supervised by Major League Baseball.
Nope.
The broadcast just throw it up there. It's not a three-dimensional rectangle or three-dimensional polygon. It's a rectangle. It's not a Nintendo game. So you see a lot of bitching about, look at where that, and it throws that dot up. The dot seems to be where the catcher sticks it. So you got a lefty throwing out of a 3/4 slot from the far side of the pitcher's rubber to a righty, and where the catcher's sticking it on a camera that's not shooting straight over the top of the pitcher. Like, you don't have any idea at home where that ball crossed or where it didn't cross or what it looks like from behind the plate. You're just guessing based on this graphic that they threw up there. It's utter nonsense. That's I'd rather see them just get rid of that so that the people at home can't complain and just let the umpires do their job.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm the old curmudgeon. This is going to bring all the kids back. We're going to have, Major League Baseball is going to overtake the NFL here in 2 years because they're all going to wear, melting ice cream pants and do bat flips and be able to challenge balls and strikes. That's what's going to save baseball. Smarter guys than me have figured this out. So
have their the Nike City Reflect jerseys on all the time.
City Connect.
Don't even get me started.
Well, NFL's got the rivalries version of it. They came out with this year, so they're using it tonight in the Miami game. So Andy, for the listeners out there, here's the rules. Each team will be allowed 2 challenges per game, and the only people that can challenge is hitters, pitchers, and catchers. Catchers can challenge. They could tap their hat and say, "I want that challenge." So they'll review it. They'll put it up on the big board, and it'll either be true or false, and then they'll show it on the board as well, and then they'll move along quickly with hopefully it won't take too long. But I've seen it at a couple of games at the Saints when they were testing it out. They'll throw it up on the video board and show you how close it was or how wrong the ump was or whatever. So it's interesting to see it that way, but it is 2 per game. And I'm sure there's going to be guys who are, every time, there's going to be the guys that do it instinctively all the time. And the manager's going to say, look, throttle back a little bit, right? We don't need this every time being all about you, but you got to use them wisely as well. But it'll get rid of the obvious missed calls, right? It'll get rid of the obvious blown calls.
Yeah, but it's when the guy, but the one in the All-Star game where they caught it, it barely caught the corner. Relax. You pulled a rabbit out of your hat. You got it. Whatever. I just have a
so it's not like the challenge thing where if you get it right, you get to keep it. It's a strict 2 a game.
Yeah, I think it's just 2 a game. And then I heard
no matter how many players,
2 per team.
Yeah, and the players get to initiate it.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have to go to they don't have to point to the manager and say, "I want you to challenge."
Oh boy!
So it's going to be a wild scene because,
like I said, was never going to get one. That number
some guys can do it.
Oh yeah. No, it's going to be the 3 and 4 hitters are going to be calling all of them.
Yep.
And if they're successful and they challenge it and they're right, they'll retain that one. So they can keep challenging throughout the game.
Okay. So they do get to keep it.
You keep it.
That's right. So it's like the challenge rule. Like you only lose it if you get it wrong.
Lose it if you get it wrong. So you get 2 to use each game, and if you keep getting them right, you can keep going. So
and if it goes extra innings, you get 1 every inning.
Who's going to be the first pair of teammates to get into a fist fight over the guy burning the last one, and then the next guy not getting one, and then it's tweeting about it.
The question should be which 2 Mets players will be arguing about it. Let's just say it right there. I'll throw my team under the bus. Soto's going to argue with who about it,
I could see it happen with the Padres too. They got some characters over there. Machado.
Tatis arguing about it. Yeah, I can give you that.
So it'll be interesting. They've tried it for a couple of years in Class A, and then Double A, then Triple A, and it's worked. They're going to try to implement it, but it'll be interesting. Like we said, there's downfalls to it. Everyone's going to be tapping the head. That initiates it. So I'm sure an umpire is going to see someone doing something that's not tapping it, and he's going to say he tapped his head. Yeah. No, it's not what I meant.
No, it's just in the helmet.
Yeah, we're gonna have a manager come out and get ejected over that. Yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of
a whole bunch of fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Now, do you guys know the dimensions of what they're using? I didn't know this before. I'm assuming you guys probably did, but the zone is 17 inches wide, and the height will be 53.5% of the player's height, and the bottom will be 27% of. So they'll have to be. What do they key in? Every player's exact height, and then the box is reflected to that, I think is what they do. So,
oh my God,
it's way too involved, I think.
So you have to screw with the IT guy and go your tall, short, every other batter. So left, right, go tall and short.
And so they'll be locked in then for the game, so then they'll be able to show it, I think.
It sounds like dystopian sci-fi. This is like
each
Harrison Bergeron
stats they plug in for it. Jesus Christ.
So we'll see how it works. One of the things will be, is this just a 1 year? Is this live now, or is this a test? Is this a beta, or is this going on?
They don't go backwards. Come on, they're still doing that stupid ghost runner at second base. That was a COVID year experiment. They don't go backwards. Come on.
So this will be it. So they'll probably tweak it then as they go along if they need to, but this is not something that's going away. So
I think I'm still paying taxes for the Metrodome. I'm not sure. You know how these things are, man. They don't.
Yeah, they give you you'll forget about it. You'll just be the new normal.
The toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube, man. It's out. It's it.
We'll see how that goes. And then there'll be a stat for that. He's got an 85% correction rate.
Oh God.
No, they'll track it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You'll be able to bet on it too.
Oh yeah.
Side bet, prop bet.
What now?
Any new thing that they can create the bet on.
Now I think Ryno's on our team for this, Dan. I want the Sunday paper where it's got runs, hits, RBIs, and average. That's all I need for the box score.
Classic box score.
That's all I want.
We figured Ryno would like that. I don't need
back in my day
over the top
with the old fish wrap.
Well, yeah. I mean, this dates me. I had a paper route. I was a kid. That was my first job. The greatest joy of my day was coming home from school. After that 7-mile walk uphill both ways, and through the blizzard, and that stack of papers would be sitting at the driveway that they dropped off, and you crack that thing open. First thing I do is rip out the sports page, flip open, and start checking the box scores. See what all my favorite players did the day before. And it's just whatever, different world, whatever we got. It's all fantasy sports and gambling and instant. Everyone's tracking instant stats and everything and whatever. But
so FanDuel is the sports network now. They have their DraftKings updates all the time for who's going to win or lose and this and that. But Pete Rose couldn't go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No fan of Pete Rose, but the hypocrisy is.
Yeah, not saying what Pete did was right or wrong. It's another story for another day, but just don't say gambling's wrong. We got gamblers sponsoring you all the time.
The hypocrisy is astounding.
I don't get that at all.
So I had one more thing here, Andy. I forgot to say, big league umpires right now, statistically, they're correct 94% of the time is the average. 94% of balls and strikes are called right already. And they each get graded, the home plate ump, after each game. They get a scorecard. It's a full detailed thing. They all get rated. They all get graded. So it's not like it's not being done. They're already under the microscope to be correct.
And when they show those scatter plots of where they're missing, when they're missing, they're missing by
a hair,
centimeters. It's so close. so close. It's not like they're missing in the left-handed batter's box, like, umpires I may or may not have ever seen. But, they're not missing by much. Those guys are good.
Pretty good. I mean, they're not doing brain surgery, for crying out loud. 94% good at your job is pretty good.
Yeah, like Ryno said at the beginning, most of these guys are very good already. They're already not missing much, if anything at all.
Well, we're talking about you're back there for 9 innings. That's 300 plus pitches on most nights.
Right.
Now the Major League Baseball did say the analytics said that 61.5% of all ejections for the previous years were based on ball strike arguing. And so maybe the other thing is that they want to cut that down and make the game quicker and faster and get down with arguing. You want to argue it? Fine. Argue it. We'll make a decision just like that and it's done. We don't have to go on with all the drama. And maybe that is another good thing too. Maybe we'll see less of that, but who knows?
I think another stat that'll never get broken is Bobby Cox's career ejections. That stat will never get broken now.
I think 65% of the ejections have to do with the managers wanting a cold beer out of the clubhouse.
They're trying to rally the team.
So,
let's get a
unless they take the cold beers out of the clubhouse, I don't think you're going to change anything.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but it should be interesting. Spring training, did they do it in the spring training this year, I think?
They did spring training this year a lot too. And they said that a lot of guys out of force of habit the first couple of weeks would go to their helmet and also were tossing players or getting pissed about it. So they started making that, like, if you even look at you're going to your helmet, they're going to toss you. So guys out of force of habit were still doing that. They do it the whole, I'm adjusting my helmet. Sorry, I wasn't questioning it,
Yeah, we had a couple red-ass ejections. So I remember seeing that.
Okay. So that's all we got. I think that's good. That's good opinions there, Ryno, because we're going to see a lot of it. It's going to make all the news next April. It's going to be hot news, I'm sure, in the baseball community. Now, Andy, what else have you got here for Ryno?
I got one more thing for Ryno because he knows a little bit about this. The criteria points came out the other day. And
I glanced through them.
We'll stick with our friends here in the Crow River. So I get my numbers up here in a second.
This is for town ball, Minnesota State town ball baseball amateur.
Looks like St. Bonnie's going to be B again, but Waconia Lakers are at 39. They're still going to be A.
Yeah.
So St. Bonnie's going to drop down to B again, it looks like.
Well, Waconia made the tournament, won a game.
I didn't see a lot of the major jumps in there, so I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, there are a couple C's that got pushed up kind of on the bottom end. I saw nothing major.
Yeah,
a couple A's moving down.
Yeah, they didn't reinvent the wheel.
Hinckley's up to A.
The playoffs last year
that ended up getting pushed up.
Hinckley Knights? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only Hinckley team.
Yep, they're the very bottom A1 at 36.
Yep, yeah, I knew that they were going to be going up. Who was that? Yep. Who was that last team?
Buffalo Bulldogs and the Bemidji Bucks.
Oh, yeah,
they're still an A. Now, the Crow River for our playoffs for 7C last year, or 7B, I'm sorry. It was that round robin and then the top 4 teams after that. And I know other different conferences all did different things. Are you okay with that? Or do you want to, this is the playoffs, damn it, this is the way we do it. Boom, 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 for everybody.
Well, I think everybody's going to have to be flexible with their playoff structure year in, year out, because at least until the criteria stuff settles down a little bit, you're going to see a lot of movement up and down. I don't know, maybe after 1 year we're going to see less of it. I don't know. I don't know. I think you're going to have to be open-ended about that stuff, because we're going to have so many, you had the Crow, you had the DRS, you have, a lot of the leagues that are going to have this, multi-divisional, membership. And so you're going to have to be open to being flexible, because some of your teams, and then you're going to have the teams that screw up in the middle of the year and get bumped up or they put in the wrong address or whatever they do. And then you're going to lose that team, and that's going to screw up your form. So I think they're going to have to, be cognizant of that and be ready to modify as necessary.
Do you kind of go with the hockey rules? Because for standings, we talked about this with Cheetah and with some other guys. When a B plays a C,
yeah,
okay,
so
it counts as a game, but it doesn't count in the standings.
Yeah.
Should you get a half a point for a win?
DRS did it, and their system worked awesome. And the winner of the DRS that won the cup this year was their only C team. So
yeah,
that's been the gripe. I mean, I know it's pretty new to the Crow because the Crow has always been pretty much C top to bottom until you started to see the Young Americas and Plato's getting pushed up and stuff. And I know that was a big gripe from some local sports writers and some, well, now these games don't count. They don't matter. Well, the DRS figured out a way to make them matter.
Yep.
But, the DRS was dealing with this because the DRS has had teams in B and C, when A was still the loop. They've had their Elkos, and then St. Patty ended up getting moved up. And, so they've always had teams. The Prior Lake Jays have always been B, and they play each other regular season. And I remember back in the day, the complaints would be, Lonsdale's got to play their game of Prior Lake. Well, Lonsdale's got, they're not going to throw their good arm because the game doesn't matter to them. And they've got a big one coming up with, New Prague or whatever on Wednesday. And so, Prior Lakes, the game doesn't matter to them. So they're going to throw their number 3, whatever. So that's not a new conflict. But the DRS figured out a way to make it work, figured out a way to make the games competitive. Still, to a certain extent, your priority is going to be setting yourself up for your, either your region or your district or your section or wherever you're going to end up postseason. You got to set yourself up best for that. But, having a little incentive there to make those games count, I think was really effective. And it made those games more interesting. It made those games more interesting for the fans. Because that's ultimately what they have to be interesting for. If nobody wants to come to the games because they think they don't matter, then that obviously hurts the clubs, hurts their bottom line. You got to sell tickets, sling some hot dogs, sell some beers. That's what pays for the field. That's what pays for for all this to be what it is. So
I went to a few of the Crow River B against C, B against A games, and it was a glorified practice. It was embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, but
it's like, you charge me full price for this?
Yeah, well, that's right. So you introduce a point system where there's some incentive for that C team to show up and with their best, and there's some, incentive for, I think, like I said, I think it worked really well in the DRS. There's always, it's never perfect, but it's never going to be perfect. I mean, it wasn't perfect when you had, when you had teams in the Crow River that were, before the criteria came in, when we were sort of arbitrarily designating who was B and who was C, and you had teams loading up on guys from Minnetonka because they were close enough, and then teams on the other end of the Crow that were too far away to even have access to those players. So we're never gonna have a perfect system. You just try to level it off and make it as competitive as you can. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that have been cellar dwellers in the Crow for generations. They're gonna say, "Cry me a river,"
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I hear that. But yeah, that's wanted to get your insight on a couple things there. Didn't mean to get the blood flowing a little bit there.
Always good.
Good that this person in the morning got the blood going.
Now, fellas, we got a trivia question answer to get to. Please. Willie Mays on this day, 1954, caught the over the head basket catch out there in center field. How far do you think that ball traveled? Any thoughts?
I remember what the center field.
480.
Close. It's a little high there, but yeah, it's close to that. Andy, what do you think?
We'll say 415.
Okay, it was 460 feet.
Okay, was 480 with marking on the wall?
Probably. Yeah.
I think I can't even think of what it was. It
was a mile back there, so it's 465 is what they estimate that where he actually caught it at.
The ball was 460 even. Is where they
460
just
even.
Think of that. Just think of that catching the ball. Think of it this way: being the batter that crushed it, it goes out as an F8 in the books. That is 460-foot ball caught for an out. But this is what it was baseball back then. Great catch.
I could take a ball 460 if they let me hit it twice.
Yes. That's amazing.
The tee, you're ready to go.
From all aspects, that's amazing. That whole thing. It's just I never knew it was 460. Seen the video a million times, but 460 feet and making the catch. Well, that's what it was.
That's a country mile out there, man.
Yes.
Well, and then spinning around and making the throw. That's the other part of that.
Oh,
I think I could have tagged up and made that next base on that distance.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, Ryno, thanks for your insight, sir.
Always a pleasure, boys.
We'll do this in April or May when town ball gets started up again, and we'll see what's going on.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
or any hate mail you get to me.
All right, we'll do. Thanks
we
for your
will.
time.
Don't worry about it.
See you, boys.
See ya.
See ya. Have a good one.
All
well,
right.
Andy, got some good stuff. A lot of good topics there. A lot of things to talk about. We have one last thing, I think, is who's your guess for MVP, Cy Young Award, and Manager of the Year, Andy?
For me, okay, here we go. I got American League. Okay, and I kind of played favorites on some of these.
Okay.
Just a little bit favorite. American League Rookie of the Year, I got the Big Dumper.
Okay, yep. You have to go there.
It's a catcher. All the other things he does. I'm going Dumper there. And National League, I'm going just because I'm anti-Ohtani. I gotta go with PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong for my National League MVP. Cy Young, I'm going with the Slam Dunks, Scooble and Skeens.
Okay. SNS.
Right Rookie of the Year is Kurtz from the Athletics and Baldwin with the Braves. And my Rookies of the Year. Manager of the Year, I got Pat Murphy of the Brewers. And I'm going to go John Schneider, Toronto, for my American League Manager of the Year.
Wow. Good pick. Toronto was really not in the mix most of the season.
Well,
they had a good spring training.
500 last year. It was a 20-game swing. They were last place last year. And you could say you could put a guy from the Reds in there. You could put him up, Francona up for Manager of the Year. You could say the guy of the Cubs for Manager of the Year. Whole bunch of them you can. But Brewers did it again too, and the way they were last in, but they got the best record this year. It's kind of like them. Schneider with Toronto. No one in the American League really shined as a manager. I mean, I don't.
My only pick would be the Cleveland to get it back to
Manager of the Year. Yeah, because they came back.
What he did on that comeback for a team that was very average 3/4 of the season.
Right.
They just hovered at 500 is really all they did. Like you and I have always said, if you can play 500 ball and then put together a winning streak, and what they did at the end, they overtook Detroit. That is phenomenal. They were left in the dust.
I know from talking to Pastor all year, him being the big Cleveland fan. The thing that kind of helped balanced schedule, yes. But Cleveland had all the quote unquote tough teams early on.
Okay.
Not all. I mean, they played Seattle at the end, and they played Detroit, but they got the American League East out of the way right away.
Yeah.
So the teams are now granted playing even schedule. You got to play everybody anyway. But when your body is beat up and your team's beat up, you'd rather play the Angels and the Twins than the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Red Sox.
It's also when you play them. Yes.
Now, granted, they played those teams early, tough teams early, and lost, so that part backfired on them. But when your team was getting beat up in the air, you were playing Angels, the Diamondbacks, the Twins, the Marlins, the Rays. So it was a little easy. It's okay to play those. You're hurt a little bit, but
they kept with it. They kept, and I don't know what the manager did to motivate that team, but they believed and they got it done. They kept winning. I mean, they kept winning at a high clip at the last month. Unbelievable.
Yes. Incredible team there. They're going to be fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch because them and the Reds are a fun team to watch. I saw something else about the Reds today, how they had no qualifying player with a batting average over 275 or something like that. No pitcher with over 200 strikeouts.
Sure.
No pitcher with this many innings. So it was things thrown, not throwing, but no star really showed up and shine.
Which means then they have the chemistry.
Three of them. Nemo's a fourth argument, but the Mets had 3 All-Stars. 4 for you argue with Nemo in your batting lineup.
Yeah.
And they're golfing today.
Oh, it's just amazing.
I mean,
well, we'll be back next week, Monday night, with the first round playoff results.
Yeah, I will have a bonus episode Wednesday night of the other sports over the weekend. Talk a little WNBA there, some NASCAR playoffs coming up, hockey starting, college hockey getting going. I'll put something together and have it out for you Wednesday evening.
Awesome. Sounds good. Have a good week, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.